Good afternoon, everyone. Can you all hear me clearly? Loud and clear? Thank you so much for the time today and specifically for the interest in Dynamics 365 marketing. I'm Ananta Ramachandran, Global Product Marketing Manager for Dynamics 365 marketing. During this panel discussion, I want this to be a super interactive session. We want to share some high-level information for about 10 minutes about Dynamics 365 marketing. And we have some of our customers who've been very gracious enough to join us on stage today, and they will share some insights based on how they are preparing to adopt or what they've done in the last 6 months after adoption as well. So I'm very glad this is a pretty nice setting here. We really want it to be a super interactive session, right? To help us get started on an interactive experience here, by show of hands, may I know how many of us in this room have already started using Dynamics 365 marketing? Yeah, it's almost like, that's good. May I know how many of us have recently purchased and are here just to know how to get started? That's quite a few as well, okay. All right, thank you, you're in the right session. This is exactly tailor-made for this audience, right? We have customers who are in your shoes or who've been in your shoes about 5 to 6 months ago. And we also talk to a lot of customers, so I'm happy to share insights based on what other customers have done as well. So please feel free to ask questions, make this a session that's going to be super valuable to you, right? Again, I wanted to start by thanking you all for being valuable customers and reinforce that we want to enable every business, each one of you, to help drive the next digital transformation agenda for your business. Specifically, we want to empower marketers to turn more prospects into business relationships. We strive to help you find and nurture more sales-ready leads, align sales and marketing, make smarter decisions, and grow your operations with an adaptable platform. This is what is guiding the product. This is what is guiding the offers. We are truly focused on empowering marketers accomplish these outcomes in your respective businesses as well. So I know many of you want to have a succinct view of all the capabilities available in this solution. So this is a very popular slide. I thought I'd also put this out. It articulates all the key capabilities that exist in the solution since they launched last year. It also includes the capabilities we recently enhanced during October 2019. So feel free to take pictures. I don't need to say that. I already see a lot of cameras up. All right, you got this? Thank you. Again, just quickly to run through it, it can help marketers run multi-channel campaigns across emails, landing pages, forms, social posting. You can also organize events with ease. And then you could nurture leads with a personalized buyer's journey. You could segment the right audience, set up multiple lead scoring models to prioritize leads who are ready to buy. And we also offer event management capabilities, so you can plan, manage, and execute your events. We also have a buyer's journey for events marketing, which can help you nurture your audience before the event, during the event, and after the event as well. So all that event management capabilities is part of the solution. We offer rich insights and reporting to help you understand what's happening in each and every step of the buyer's journey. Those interaction insights by your leads will help you understand and refine your buyer's journey as well. And just like many of you here, like most of you here, one of the compelling reasons why customers choose us is because the sales and marketing applications are on the same unified platform. So the common data and connected business process to manage leads, to organize events, help them align sales and marketing operations as well. Unlike other solutions in the market, there is no two different solutions. There is no two different databases. There is no need to exchange data using an integrator or a connector. It's all part of the same platform. So same data source, common information, and connected business process is what helps align sales and marketing operations. We also have recently introduced a lot of AI-based capabilities, such as smart scheduling, can help you know which is the best time to communicate with your target audience, and segment boost, which helps you find lookalike segments based on the segments that have responded well in the past. We also enable marketers with spam scores as they are composing their emails. We provide spam scores and guidelines on how to improve deliverability of their emails as well. These are AI-based capabilities that exist in the solution as well. In addition to that, we recently enhanced the application with integration with customer insights. So you may have heard about Dynamics 365 Customer Insights, which can help you bring data from many sources, right? And then get better insights about your customers. Another thing that you can do is you could create segments based on external data sources as well. And at a single click, use that segment within Dynamics 365 Marketing to run your marketing campaigns as well. So if you want to segment your audience based on information available within Dynamics 365, you could use the segmentation tool within Dynamics 365. But if you want to bring data from external solutions and external tools or external sources, Dynamics 365 Customer Insights can help you with that, right? So these are all the capabilities that exist in the solution today. We will continue to make major updates every April and October. We had a tremendous first year. We launched last year. We had a fantastic first year. The entire Dynamics 365 team thanks each of you for being one of the early adopters, for being the customers who are trying this application. We are pumped up. You would see that there's more product innovation that's coming up. There's a lot more that you can expect from this solution as well. Okay. With that, I want to also give a shout out for some of our reference customers who tried this early and who have achieved some benefits. For example, Vaughan, a manufacturing analyzer in Chicago, has been able to use this application to actually increase the number of leads. If you look at Actum Digital, right, they're based out of Europe. They are happy that they've been able to improve the quality of leads and drive better engagement during events, but because of use of Dynamics 365 Marketing. And we also have Northrop & Johnson, which has used marketing and sales automation on the unified platform. So after they adopted Dynamics 365 Marketing, they've seen a 70% increase in charter sales. And we will share the story about how Microsoft is using the solution internally as well. So these are some of the reference customers and how they have been benefiting from using Dynamics 365 Marketing. But today, we are going to focus on customers who've been gracious to spend their time and share these insights with us here. But before going there, I do want to say that in general, we've seen a lot of our customers take the crawl, walk, and run approach, right? Adopting any solution is not just knowing the tool and configuring the tool and implementing that tool. You'll hear the best practices from the panel. There's a lot that has to happen before that, right? The change management process, getting the buy-in from the leadership team, and then deciding your phased approaches is so critical, right? So most of our customers make sure that they are involving both the sales teams as well as marketing teams, as well as IT teams and leaders in this process of understanding what are their goals, what is the current state of marketing processes, how should they refine the marketing process to support that business goal, and then discuss how to use Dynamics 365 Marketing as a tool to achieve that business process, refine business process and achieve that goal, right? So some of the use cases that they start with is, first thing that they do is they make sure all the crawl phase involves making sure all their data is all in one place, the data is a lot more cleaner, you're able to make sure that you're able to create your segments in a much more crisp fashion, right? So a lot of data management is definitely part of crawl phase. They also then start sending out their first newsletter, maybe set up a form. That's the crawl phase. So the walk phase is maybe they'll set up a form on a website. They'll set up a buyer's journey wherein if someone fills that form, an email goes to that submitter and they get nurtured and an email goes to the salesperson as well. That's the walk phase. And as they mature, they also start organizing their annual company events or partner events using the event management capabilities, right? That's the common use case, common capabilities that we've seen customers adopt in the initial phases as well. So as they further mature in the run phase, we've seen customers starting to use the multiple lead scoring models, account-based marketing, and more advanced capabilities like that. So again, we request you, especially those who are embarking on this journey, to consider this crawl, walk, run phase and make sure you're engaging all the required parties in your change management process and you're getting the right buy-in from your customers as well, because those are so critical for helping your business increase demand and better align sales and marketing operations, right? So to get us a bit more specific insights, please help me welcome some of our customers, Samsung Fong from Tridel, Pawan from Microsoft, and Jeremy Lawson from Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. Could you join us on stage, please? And please help me welcome them.
4 chairs.
So as they get settled, let me play a video of how Microsoft retail team uses the solution to manage events in Microsoft stores.
Microsoft stores are all about the experience. It's really getting to discover, use, buy, and love Microsoft products. And one of the ways that we take that to the next level is through free programs for the communities.
As a community development specialist, we offer 50 hours of free programming every week that touches across different audiences, from educators to small businesses and youth. And I think that's truly what makes Microsoft Stores special. Dynamics 365 is a one-stop shop for all the features that we need to run our business successfully. Instead of toggling between different programs to try and manage our event registration and topics and dates that we're running them, we can just go to Dynamics 365 and have access to all of that in one space.
Customers make or break your company, and so we have to make sure that that customer journey is preserved and really the best experience possible.
The seamlessness that Dynamics 365 provides for our customer experience helps us further nurture that relationship. Not only did it give us more time back to further engage with our local communities, but that tailored experience really allows us to build on our future programming.
The rollout of Dynamics 365 marketing has actually been really well received. We are able to have more time back in our days to be able to really reach the customers that we help and serve and build relationships with organizations. Instead of spending a bunch of time staring at a screen and a tool, it really gives us back the time we need to do our jobs. We use Dynamics 365 marketing to save time, drive results from our events, and do more, which is awesome.
Thank you. Hope you liked that video. With that, so this is one of the most interesting parts to me. I have certain questions that I believe will be valuable to a lot of customers here, but feel free to ask questions that will be more useful to people like you. We have a mic here for folks who are either going to listen to this audio live or later as well. So feel free to keep this as interactive as possible and make sure let's have a lot of value derived from this discussion as well. Right? Thank you again for joining us today. May I request each one of you to quickly introduce yourself and tell us about your company, please, Samson?
Sure. So my name is Samson Fung. I'm the Vice President of Marketing for Tridel. Tridel is a company that's about 85 years old. We're based out of Toronto, Canada, so I'm very happy to be here because it just started snowing today. So we are a real estate condominium developer. We've been doing this for a number of years now, and we're one of the leading condominium developers in Canada. We have about 20 to 25 active condominiums for sale at any given time, and we've just started embarking on the process of using Dynamics 365 marketing.
Great, thank you. Pawan, could you share a bit about yourself?
I represent the retail stores engineering team for Microsoft. We build technology for Microsoft stores in general, but anything and everything which is related to technology is what my team owns. So that's pretty much about what I do. In terms of stores, probably for people who do not know, we have about 85 stores in 5 countries catering to our customers. Whatever that you saw in stalls and booths, we exactly do the same thing in our stores. We kind of teach customers our technology. We kind of showcase our devices. So it's an amazing place. I mean, feel free to kind of go to stores nearby to a place and kind of learn whatever that you want to learn.
Yeah, thank you. Jeremy?
I am Jeremy Larson with the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, and we're leveraging Dynamics for a lot of things. The marketing side of it for the church proper is for internal communications for the most part, and then the other area that we're leveraging it for is with the BYU University is using it for department communications out to either from a lead generation for trying to bring students into the schools, or from an alumni perspective, anybody who's been out, so from cradle to grave, marketing in that aspect. But the piece that I'm most familiar with is on the internal marketing, internal communications piece, where we were finding with HR and other departments, they wanted to communicate and didn't have the ability to segment on the key metrics they wanted to use. Which department they are in, pay type, if they were contract versus not contract, or if they were a subsidiary company or whatever, and they didn't want to communicate multiple times to different people, different messages, and sometimes it's a different message that needs to go and they need both. And so using Exchange wasn't a good fit. And then the added bonus on top of all that was the visibility into, is the email getting read, and what was interesting to them in that email.
Absolutely. Interaction insights are a pot of gold for marketers, sellers. Fantastic. Samson, can you share a bit about what are the marketing activities in your company to help drive sales of those wonderful condominiums?
Yeah, so I mean, we're in the real estate business, and you can imagine that the real estate business is pretty traditional. And in actuality, it's still the traditional forms of marketing, say TV, radio, newspaper, is still actually very prevalent in the industry as a whole. So Tridel, we've been one of the ones that have started actually moving over into the digital front. We were from some of the first people to use email in our industry, and it wasn't even that long ago. That's the reality of where we're at. But right now, email marketing is the strongest thing for us, as well as using our website to show all our prices and floor plans and all that type of information. So from a marketing side, that's the strongest push of what we do now from a digital side. And then you add on all the other layers in terms of social media and such. But email marketing and our website have been the strongest initiatives that we have.
Okay. Why did you choose Dynamics 365 marketing?
There's
many solutions available, right? So
the biggest reason is just having everything on that single platform. Right now, we actually use 3 or 4 different systems. We have a WordPress website. We use Marketo for marketing automation. We have 2011 version of CRM Dynamics, and then we have a proprietary software for our document generating. And none of these basically talk to each other. I can't tell from a website side whether or not the person that registered on our website actually purchased, unless I actually manually track them through each one of these different systems through each step. Each system tracks the person in a different way. Marketo tracks it by email address. CRM Dynamics right now tracks it by contact, and then our contract system tracks it by suite number of the actual building. So none of these things you can't really tell whether or not you have an end-to-end version of looking at what a person has actually done with our brand. So what really attracted us to Dynamics 365 marketing was the fact that you have in one system. We really want to try to amalgamate all these different things into one thing. Okay. It's just such a hard process now to see a 360-degree view of the customer, and having that will make our marketing and make our sales much more powerful.
Yeah, thank you. And Jeremy, you mentioned the need for segmentation, the need for interaction insights as one of the key reasons you chose this. I'm sure before you started using the tool, there must have been some kind of a process refinement that would have happened, right? Could you share a bit about that?
You would hope, but the HR department knew, central HR knew that they wanted to communicate this out. They've been using historically distribution lists, and it was getting unwieldy. It was just a mess, and so they saw this shiny object called marketing and said, "Great, let's use that." And they found our team because we support the Dynamics platform, and in this process, we said, "Okay, great, we'll help you out." And we were trying to get from them what are the different use cases that you're going to use the marketing for, who are you going to email, what data are you going to segment on. And it was extremely difficult to get a lot of that information. And now that we're live using it, oh yeah, and I need that too. Oh yeah, and I need that too. So I would suggest as a best practice, think broadly, one, of how much data you're going to need, and two, anticipate that you're going to need more data after the fact, no matter how much due diligence you do up front.
Good tip, good tip. Before we get to Pawan about the retail story, can we also know Is Tridel looking at refining the current marketing process before you start using the tool? Could you talk a bit about it?
Yeah, so before we get into the tool, it's just kind of prepping our teams. So we work with an ad agency to produce most of our creative and getting them ready for the changeover of what using a tool like Dynamics 365 Marketing would be. The biggest example would be, say, having email strategies based on customer journeys. Right now, we kind of have, say, for example, we'll have a 6-week campaign, and every week we send out an email. So the creative teams basically think, okay, week 1 I have to do this email, week 2 I have to work on this one, and I have another week to work on that. I have another week to work on week 3s. But in actuality, when we do this customer journey and have marketing automation working the way it's supposed to be, say if I still have 6 emails, they need to be done to the front based on what happens, what the person does as the first action, then the next one gets triggered. So all of these have to be ready up front. And training our team to start thinking that way and having that pre-planning that method rather than kind of going ad hoc is something that we're implementing now as an interim means before we get the actual system in place. That way at least our team will be ready when we actually have to go into that. As well as lead scoring, which is a big change, which we don't do right now. We're just not capable of doing that with the current systems that we have in place and doing that personalization and segmentation. So we're starting that process in a very manual way in the sense that we'll go in through our list and query out the different segmentations that we want and then send it out that way. But getting our team used to thinking about how they can do that, how we can segment and how we can do lead scoring is how we're getting prepped for the new system coming in.
Absolutely. Go ahead.
I just had a thought while he was speaking. It reminded me, one of the reasons that we also had selected the Dynamics marketing solution was we are, for our core marketing stuff, we're using Salesforce's Marketing Cloud. And as we had shown that to the HR guys, they were overwhelmed with the knobs and buttons and complexity that brought, and they were explaining that we've got HR professionals who want to be HR professionals, not marketing professionals. They need to be able to do this, use a template in a simplified manner and communicate and do all of these things they need to do. And this is that simple tool.
Very easy to use.
Very intuitive.
Okay.
It just works.
Thank you. So Pawan, could you share a bit about how Microsoft retail team has used Dynamics 365 Marketing and some of the best practices and learnings based on the usage over the last 6 to 7 months, please?
Sure. Before going there, the reason why we kind of chose Dynamics marketing is we had a kind of a custom monolithic application which was like 40 different .NET projects, which was spanning around 25 different servers, 4 databases. So it's like huge system to manage in terms of engineering discipline at all. So we kind of looking for systems which are more stable, more robust, more performant. So we kind of happen to know about this events, which is part of marketing module. And we kind of explored that. We are kind of an early adapters for this specific solution, and we felt it was a pretty competitive product in terms of market, and also it was a pretty close match for our needs. So that's why we kind of chose that, and that's one reason. And the amount of engineering effort that you got to do was pretty less compared to building a whole solution by yourself.
Good. Okay.
So that was very positive side of why we choose that product. 2 is our store associates are already using Dynamics sort of products for different solutions. So it was a very natural transition for them,
To attach
very less educating them, right? So it's kind of very easy transition in that sense.
Okay. So tell us about what do they use it today for?
So as I told you, we do events to delight customers and teach technology to customers. So we have like events running in stores every day. Events happen every day. So people create events across 85 stores, across all the stores in 5 countries. So that's the kind of persona that we have. Store employees create events, and customers register for this events online, and kind of they come to stores, kind of attend events. That's the workflow that we do.
Could you give us an example of these events? Are these like, if I want to learn about Visual Studio, I can walk into a store, sign up for a class.
So the events that we do is Minecraft, Office, Windows, Surface Hub, and all the products that we have, all the wonderful devices that we have. You can kind of come and learn all these technologies in stores. And we do events to help customers learn those technologies and learn about those devices.
Okay. So primarily learning events are managed using the Okay, great. Jeremy, could you share a bit about what are all the key capabilities within the application that is being used today?
They're they're using a handful. The templating was a big one where they wanted the message to be a consistent look, feel. That wasn't happening, and people weren't sure whether or not this was a one-off email, legitimate, or if this was just or if it was, was this a corporate message, and all above board, or was this somebody who had an opinion, or or spam, right? There was a lot of concern around that as well. The other thing, A/B is one of the features that
A/B testing?
Yeah, A/B testing. Thank you. We're not using it yet, but we're excited to make that happen.
Okay.
That was one of those that I was surprised that HR was the one who was pushing that one. The schools are also, with BYU, excited about that. The other key feature that I'm looking forward to is the business unit, where HR started this and the other departments are seeing, wow, this is working, this is really great, how do we do this? And that segmentation with the business units is key to that.
Fantastic. I know there are questions in the audience here. I saw a few hands popping up. If you have any questions, feel free to stop by the mic and ask them. I'll ask them one more question and then we'll. So, what's next for you? Like you're either refining the process, you're getting to what's next for you?
I'm getting started.
Okay.
So that's my next.
Okay.
Actually, we've hired an implementation partner to kind of help guide us through this. We spent the last year or so pretty much redefining what our procedures are, what our goals are, how we're going to achieve them. We spent quite a bit of upfront time because we went through this process about, I want to say 8 years ago when we implemented Dynamics 2011 on-prem. So we went through that process, but then we didn't define it properly and well enough that we could really utilize it, and that's why we're kind of here today. So we spent the last a number of months, close to a year, I think, basically defining out what it is that we want to achieve, getting buy-in from the various stakeholders that we need to go through, from the executive level down to the individual sales users, and now we're at the stage where we've picked the implementation partner, and we're getting ready to really define what we're going to do and roll it out.
Absolutely, fantastic. So. Any question? Feel free to come to the mic and ask those questions. So, what's next for retail, Owen?
Sure. For us, we kind of stabilized, we established on this platform. Now we kind of looking for next opportunities. One immediate opportunity that we kind of exploring is the QR code capability that's going to be available pretty soon. Today, customers walk in and they have to wait for registrations, especially for gaming events. It's like rush events. So many people turn up to the stores, and we kind of make them wait. So we kind of eagerly waiting for that capability. The moment the QR code capability comes, so we're going to roll that out. So apart from that, we're also exploring customer insights. As any other organization, Microsoft has also kind of grown from multiple systems. So we have customers data in multiple n number of systems. So how do we build one 365-degree view of customers? Customer insights is a great solution which we are kind of exploring to do the segmentation, to build one view of customer.
Okay, great. So, Jeremy?
That's exactly where I was going to go. In addition to the A/B testing and the business units I was mentioning, customer insights is the solution that we're looking to use to bring in some of these ad hoc data sources that we need in order to do the proper segmentation. And understand that full 360 view of that customer.
Okay, great. So, what are the top questions that we have? Like maybe I can put up the capability slide, and maybe we'll have a good discussion here. Go ahead. Yeah.
We have a number of contacts that self-identify that are interested in our IP or our company through websites and things like that. But a lot of our contacts are also personal contacts of our employees going to lunch with people or creating these leads themselves. And we're kind of facing people want contacts as my contacts. Like I don't want to put those in your system. They're mine, And I guess how have you set up ownership of those contacts and how people are allowed to touch them or not touch them?
Yeah. Just to make sure folks online could hear that, just want to make sure the mic was audible enough. The question was about how do you manage personal contacts versus contacts for marketing, contacts for sales, etc. Right? Has anyone dealt that? I've seen customers manage that.
That's a solid. It depends.
Yeah.
we've solved that in a handful of cases, depending on the business requirements, and HR is one of those solutions where each department wants to say, I can only communicate with this list of people. Well, in that solution, I'm sorry, they're all employees, and sure, you can create your marketing list for this, but they can create the same segment. Now, whether or not they can see salary data, that's a different conversation. So it depends on what you're trying to do. So yes, I can control with all of the rights and permissions that the CDS environment provides. You can carve that off, say, you get to see it and you don't get to see it. But the contact entity itself is owned at the high level, and everybody sees that. We've done the flip side of that, where it's more of a salesy environment where we'll have missionaries. This is a non-marketing solution, but contact management, to answer your question, where we've got people volunteering to be a missionary for the church in whatever capacity, and depending on which landing page they came in on. Oddly enough, there's departments that are interested in getting anybody to help volunteer. So you've got maybe the welfare or church history or missionary department proper or whatever. Well, I want that guy. I don't want you to see that he's interested, so I'm keeping this over here. And so we will keep, as they come in the front door, we'll funnel that just to, the contact is owned by that business unit. And then if and when they need to be seen, certain pieces of that contact get shared at the high level. So it depends on your business unit or your business case.
So that's use the access control mechanisms and use the filters and segmentation to identify the right contacts you want to engage in campaigns. Another classic example is if you look at the contact record within Dynamics 365, there's a field called marketing only contacts. So a lot of times sellers go to events, sellers have conversation with customers. You don't want to expose certain contacts to sellers, right? So use that field as well to decide whether you want to expose this contact to your sales team or not as well. So access controls, segmentation filters, and that marketing only contact field in that contact forms can help you manage the visibility and inclusion of contacts for you.
They're not exposed. If they're not exposed to everybody, do you get duplicate contacts or no?
No.
They still will.
Yeah.
If someone else adds the same person, it'll then communicate.
Yeah.
Well, it's somewhat of a similar problem because we have sales reps that represent different sales centers. And then, some sales reps may not want to, they want to work on their lead and they don't want to give it to anybody else. They don't want it to give it either into the system because they're afraid that they're going to go somewhere else or something like that. For us, we basically allow them they stick with their lead at their site. The one that they're working on, they can push their site, they can do whatever they need to do for that one lead. But if that person wants to be exposed to more marketing information for different sites across the Toronto area, then that would be where they fall into more on that marketing database for us. That's kind of how we've done it. It's not a perfect solution because you still might have some sales reps that are unwilling to move that, but that is one of the ways that we've done it.
Yeah, thanks for sharing. Any other question? Yep.
Hello.
Hi.
Just from your experience, what's your experience with unsubscribing on marketing content and the mechanism behind it in combination with Dynamics? So
we actually have to be very careful with that because we've just put in a new anti-spam law in Canada. It only came into place about 2 years ago. So the problem with us is that the problem that we currently have is because what we use what I like to call a spray and pray model, where we just send it to everybody and just hope that they want it. So as a result, your unsubscribe rates are going to go up, right? You're just sending them content that they don't want. So part of our process now as we're implementing the new 365 marketing is to really define out how to personalize that content to the best of our abilities and segment it properly. I can't speak to actually having done it because I haven't started, but that's something that we're very aware of as we're starting that process.
Yeah. I can share an insight from another customer too. This was NHP Electrical in Australia. They use the subscription management capabilities that exist within Dynamics 365 marketing. So you have various levels of subscription and customers can opt to choose different levels. So they use that to help customers register and manage that subscription. Another thing that they did was, again, this was one of the main problems and main reasons why they chose Dynamics 365 Marketing. So if you're using a third-party marketing automation solution and you're managing a subscription there, and if you're having another sales solution like Dynamics 365 for sales or something like that, right? If subscription is handled in your third-party solution and if a customer unsubscribes there, and if the information doesn't go to your CRM, there's a very high chance that your sellers are still emailing them, your departments are still contacting them. So that's one reason why they chose to have both marketing and sales on the same Dynamics 365 platform, and they're using the subscription capability, which makes sure that you're able to track and manage some subscribes and unsubscribes, and also make sure that you don't send emails, you don't send communications, because that visibility is managed across both marketing and sales. Yeah, thank you. Yeah. Like, how many of us have started using the email marketing capabilities? Is anyone here sending test emails or some batch emails? Yeah, sure. Could you share your experience based on that? Yeah. Perhaps in the mic, if you can.
I can.
I don't know a whole lot about it. Our marketing guy started using it, and he's been pretty happy with it. So,
okay.
But they've been sending our emails out that way. We did a big event a couple weeks ago.
Uh-huh.
And all the invites went out through D365 Marketing.
I see. Okay. So we see a lot of customers begin with using the simple email marketing for their newsletters and for events marketing. This is a very typical scenario that they get started with. And based on who opens the email newsletter or who reads the email newsletter, they give them more points, or they start engaging them in additional nurture activities. And more interestingly, what I heard was, so the sales folks are tracking customers who are opening their newsletters. It's a sign of intent, it's a sign of willingness to engage, so they get more confidence in reaching out to them in having additional discussions as well. So those are some typical scenarios we've heard from customers using email marketing. Thanks for sharing. Yep. Any other question?
Yeah. Hi, I have a question more in terms of the strategy, because you mentioned, one of you mentioned that you use Marketo, and the other one still also uses Salesforce. So in terms of the next steps for Dynamics 365 Marketing, do you see that tool evolving into something that would then replace those tools, or how would you compare them? So as part one, maybe, and part two, when you were evaluating tools, did you look at click dimensions, and what was the reasoning why? Because that's been there for some years as well. So if you could talk a little bit more about that.
Sure. I'll let the customers answer first, then I'll take the click dimensions.
So for the first one, in terms of did we envision that Dynamics would replace Marketo? We took a deep dive into what we're actually using with Marketo. Marketo is a very powerful tool, but when we really looked into the capabilities of what Marketo does versus what we're using it for, we're maybe using 10, 15, 20% of what Marketo can do for us. So when we took that into consideration, what we were losing as a result of having a different system that wasn't well integrated was significantly more. So in our opinion, it was better to move away from using Marketo and use Dynamics 365 Marketing. And we ended up we went to a couple different partners to ask of their opinions of people that have gone through a similar experience, and asked them, here's our entire process of what we do with Marketo right now. How close can Dynamics 365 Marketing get to replacing that? And they were like 90 to 95%. So that's part of the process that we've done in the last year to evaluate where we should go. Because my digital marketing manager, he's a big Marketo guy. He loves Marketo, but having the end-to-end tracking that he can actually do when you have one system was more valuable to him than keeping with Marketo.
Thanks for sharing. Jeremy?
On our side, so with Salesforce, they selected that due to the volume of emails that they're sending out, which is an insane amount. And so as we first engaged Microsoft, the direction we got from them was that's more than they were ready to handle at the time. And the conversations we've had with Microsoft since then is that they're getting closer to being able to handle those volumes, but we're still not quite there yet. So will it replace our Salesforce? It may or may not. But on the back end of that Salesforce, I want to be clear, it's Salesforce Marketing Cloud, not Salesforce CRM, right? Because it's all back ending with Dynamics on the back end there. What was the other question? There was
Click dimensions.
Oh,
Did
click
you
dimensions.
evaluate click
Yeah,
dimensions?
I knew there was another piece of that. With click dimensions, we actually were using click dimensions for a while. It turned out to not be as mature is not the right word. They weren't able to scale with us the way we needed to. We'd outgrown them.
Okay. Fantastic. So, based on what I've heard from customers, we also have a lot of customers who run decentralized marketing for their companies as well, wherein there's a product A running their own marketing operations, so they buy Dynamics 365 marketing for their internal usage as well. There could be a particular subsidiary that wants to use a different marketing automation solution for their department. So department purchases or business unit level marketing operations are also very common scenarios of why customers have bought Dynamics 365 marketing and have used that. So if you're working for a large corporation and if one of your departments is looking for a right-sized marketing automation solution that will help them get more value, Dynamics 365 marketing could be a better fit as well. Okay. Any other question? Okay, I do want to ask this question about sales and marketing alignment. So now that you have a marketing automation solution, hopefully you'll be able to increase more demand. Can you tell us a bit about what are some of the things that you're envisioning on aligning sales and marketing as well? Because it takes both the teams to blend well and streamline activities to actually win a customer and nurture a relationship, right? Could you talk to us a bit about what are the efforts towards aligning sales and marketing?
Well, one of the big things that sales have, they have a tendency to focus on the customer that's right in front of them and ignore the thousands of leads that come in through the digital realm. They just think that the ones that actually took the effort to walk into the door are probably more solid, and they're not going to worry about the ones that didn't bother coming in. Yeah. But that's kind of it's a bit of an older school mentality, right? Like there's so much that's done online now that you can't afford to really ignore these types of leads anymore. So one of the things that we're doing to align with them is, one, get them to understand the magnitude of what it is that they do on the digital world, because there's so much data that we have from that, but they don't get exposed to it well enough. So they just tend to think that someone just filled in a form and that was the end of it. But in actuality, they might have spent hours on the website looking at various things. Getting that information to them and having them understand that there is more to it than what they may be revealing at that time, and getting them early on in the process so that they understand what we're trying to do and why we're trying to do it.
All right, thank you. I know we are 2.5 minutes towards the closure of this session. I want to thank you all. Please help me thanking our panelists here for coming here and sharing our sessions as well. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. I do want to leave a set of resources that can help you learn more about this application as well. So let me bring that slide up. So you can visit our webpage, because I know as you are embarking on this journey, you will want to learn more about the key capabilities. You want to share snackable videos of how to do email marketing, how to do lead scoring, how to get a good introduction about the application as well. So you can go to the webpage. You can get a lot of information about capabilities, consume snackable videos. We also have thought leadership webinars as well. How to align sales and marketing, how to organize events, right? A few ways to improve demand gen. You could use all those thought leadership as a way to refine your process as well. So that's one. The next thing is the documentation page. This is the #1 tool that many of our customers have found extremely useful, right? We have user guides for your end users. We have admin guides, and we also have developer guides. So please use the help documentation. It has a powerful search functionality. If you search for any marketing phrase, it will show up the help documentation, which is extremely valuable as well. Please leverage that for helping your users adopt and admins configure the solutions properly as well. And then we have a lot of product experts who are actively engaged in our exclusive community forum for Dynamics 365 marketing. So any questions that you have, if you're not able to find any information, if you need additional information from the help documentation, right, we request all customers and partners to feel free to engage with us in the community forum. We have a team that's looking at it and responding pretty frequently, so we'd love to engage with you there as well, right? Again, I'd like to close by saying that we want to empower every organization to achieve more, right? We believe dynamic 365 marketing can truly help you turn more prospects into business relationships. Thank you so much for the time. I do look for an opportunity to connect with customers who are willing to share information on what they would like to see more in the product, or even be reference customers who can share insights to help other customers in your shoes streamline this adoption, or perhaps do a story with Microsoft and all. So if you're willing to engage with Microsoft, either to share your insights to influence a product, or be a reference customers, I'd really appreciate if you can share your business card or something like that. I'm happy to connect with you, or I'm happy to connect you to the product team to hear your needs and shape and influence the roadmap as well. With that, thank you so much for the time, and enjoy the rest of the conference. Appreciate it. Thank you.